Fatality.
So in between trips to California and to Ontario, I have been spending a lot of time with Mortal Kombat 11. And yes, I know this review is a little bit late, but I finally got some thoughts on this. I beat the story. I've spent a lot of time in the towers. I've spent some time customizing characters. I've cruised around inside of the crypt. I've gone into some of the practice areas to learn how to do special moves and some fatalities. And I can tell you unabashedly that I freaking love this game.
To the Netherrealm with
Netherrealm and all of the creative hands that have touched this franchise over the years have really created an indelible universe here.
Who's the special guest villain?
We've got this god of time in this one who is manipulating everything and can reverse time, and then we've got all kinds of younger versions of characters. They're all fun. Some of them have forearms, some of them have sort of magic attacks, some of them are just vicious, some of them have handguns and grenade launchers. Some of them can zip super fast, some of them can fly across the screen. It's a little bit of a, crazy, why is this soldier next to this lightning god? It almost reminds you of the Avengers. It almost reminds you of the Avengers movies where all of these different types meet and battle each other. It's epic and it's crazy. If you happen to be a Mortal Kombat fan, I think you're going to love the new lore that's crafted for you. There's some great surprises, especially endgame in the story. There are all kinds of, great acknowledgments and nods to lots of Mortal Kombat moments throughout the ages.
Fight.
It is crazy addictive and ridiculously violent. I don't even know if we should show some of the visuals in this thing. It's disgusting. But it is so compelling and so fun and so tuned and so polished, and it's such fan service for people that have been playing Mortal Kombat for, I think it's 25 years. I remember interviewing Ed Boon and John Tobias about Mortal Kombat 2 for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis at E3 1995. These guys have been doing this for a long time.
Seems like only yesterday.
And I always wonder, and I think I've asked Ed this about 15 times over the years, how do you guys get sort of fired up to go back into this franchise and bring new iterations on something that we're very familiar with?
We all have our duty.
And that is absolutely something that you're going to tune into if you've played Mortal Kombat for many years. This is not going to feel like a revolution on the way that you play the game.
Fuck you.
It is very much, the back and forth on a two-dimensional plane. There are some 3D elements where characters will swoop in and do some crazy throw or some, amazing stab move or some disappearing act and then vaporize and then pop right back in and play with that 3D element in 3D space. But for the most part, you are dealing with, on that linear, familiar plane, back and forth, bashing the crap out of each other, trying to remember the button combos and the ability to kind of juice up. That's one of the new things that they've added this time is you can press that R1. I played this on the PlayStation 4, you can press that R1 button and basically give yourself a little extra energy or a little extra boost as you're completing combos and doing that rock, paper, scissors kind of timing effectively against your opponent inside of the hitbox. Now I'm going to get into all kinds of esports terminology, which I don't know. And I'm not one of those guys. All I can tell you is that it felt really slick and really fun and kind of effortlessly enjoyable to play.
I heard that.
And I did feel myself getting better. I still feel like I know Scorpion the best. It was fun to see all of the different characters' special moves and power-ups, and they have these kind of last-ditch effort power moves that happen when your health bar has gone right down, then you press the 2 trigger buttons, and then it goes to a cut sequence that's particularly gruesome, like Scorpion will shoot his chain knife into people's eyes, and then he'll jump and push it with his feet into their eyeballs a little bit more, and then they'll push him into the ground, and he'll jump up. You get the idea. The amount of stuff going inside of people's skulls and chests, and then pushed in extra, and then, you'll chop off a person's head in this game and have no compunction of then also punching that head into a bloody spray. It's so disgusting. Baraka's fatality really just, I don't even want to show it. It's repulsive. The core mechanics are crazy fun, and yes, what they've done with Mortal Kombat 11 is clearly they've learned a lot of lessons, not only from Injustice, because Injustice 2 offered all of these customizable options, which became their new compulsion, their new obsession, and I'm sure with all the extra, in-game purchases that you could do to sort of stack up your characters visually, I'm sure they made tons of money by people going into the store and buying extra in-game credits to buy all kinds of stuff that made their Supermans and their Batmans look better. A lot of that sort of mechanic is here, and of course, course, there's lots of news about how NetherRealm has kind of juiced it, so if you want everything, you're going to be spending a lot of money or many hours in this game.
Here we go again.
But truthfully, you can't unlock everything if you are addicted to everything. I don't know how many people really are out there where they got to have every headband that Liu Kang can fit, and they've got to have every single piece of armor that each of the characters can apply. You unlock a lot of that stuff in the crypt as you're running around. You get rewarded for defeating objectives in towers and basically kicking ass in the game. You get rewarded in lots of different ways. And yes, they've figured out how to monetize. And yes, that code of mobile gaming paint that's applied to this is a little bit awful and nefarious, and it's rampant throughout the games industry.
Well, we're in the shit now.
It's an industry that's completely trying to figure out how to monetize in as many different ways as possible, but there are also commitments, and I sound like I'm making excuses, which I'm not, because I really wish that there wasn't any of that stuff in there, but it's an industry that's trying to figure out what that balance is, and we're still in the middle of it. You know, I think we're maturing in the middle of it, and I think we're going to figure this out pretty soon.
There's got to be a way to make this right.
And I think there's definitely a pushback from console players and people that have already spent the full price for the game to have to deal with any, call-outs to go to the store. Unless you're buying a special character or something like that, that makes more sense, or a stage. But, all of these cosmetic things after you paid full price seem a little insidious, especially if the game has been tooled to kind of push you into that direction or suggest you into that direction.
Such wasted potential.
All that being said, I'm not one of those players that gives a crap about that stuff. I'm just going to play what I earn and what's unlocked for me. I think there's copious amounts of content and entertainment in this. There's tons of characters. The one thing that I will say, though, is that the more I played this, the more I wanted another Injustice. Because as much as I love Mortal Kombat, and I think these characters are incredible, but I'm just personally a lot more familiar and I just happen to love the DC superhero lore a lot more than the Mortal Kombat stuff. And I think NetherRealm has been killing it on Injustice, and they've been killing it on Mortal Kombat.
Lock and load.
This is crazy fun, and you're going to have a great time playing against a pal in the same room as you, or against an enemy online, or getting into the tournaments and the conquests and the tower battles and playing through the story again. This is an excellent game, and NetherRealm, they're an amazing company. I'm going to give Mortal Kombat 11 a 9 out of 10.